welcome to day two, Technology Day. If you're just tuning in, I'm Ty, your HAR Technology Advisory Committee Board Chair for 2020. This is going to be amazing. My favorite day by far. So I have the honor of welcoming someone that, if you don't know, that hosts a Member Focused Monday on HAR's site every Monday and helps organize and work to countless hours putting this together with the staff at HAR. Please welcome Christina Schaefer and a very distinguished panel of guests for our technology panel today.
Hi, Ty. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey.
You're not just saying they're a distinguished panel because you're on it, are you?
Well, that has something to do with it, but not necessarily. I think the other two that are going to be here are fantastic. I'm honored to be here with them.
Wonderful. I'm very happy to be here today too. And welcome to all of our members to your HAR Virtual Engage Tech Day. We actually have a really exciting panel today, and we hand selected these specific panelists to be on this panel because they are experts on quite a few of our HAR tools, and they each have a few that they really love. So just I know we have some that you guys wanted to talk about specifically, but in the last year, what do you guys think has maybe, actually, before we do that, why don't we introduce who you are? So Ty, we all know you already from today as our host. You are our Technology Advisory Group Chair. Is there anything else you want us to know about you, Ty?
I'm just honored to be here. I've been working on the Technology Advisory Committee for probably 6 or 7 years with the key and everyone else that's there, and the leadership and the group of people that have influenced a lot of the tools that we're using now has just been amazing to watch. And if you think the tools are great now that we're going to discuss on this panel, there's more to come still.
Yes, very, very good. And you love to do push-ups, as we've seen a little bit today.
Love to do push-ups, yes. Hate to run, but love to do push-ups.
Kayla, if you could just tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, I'm Kayla Sorrell, and I'm the broker at Pop Realty. We're a small boutique brokerage.
Very good. And Paul?
Hi, everyone. I'm Paul Silverman. I'm the sales manager at Martha Turner Sotheby's International Realty, and I've been on the technology and MLS committee since probably 2002, 2003. So I would strongly encourage everybody out there, get involved in these committees, be part of where all this stuff happens, be the early adopters, and make the most out of your HAR membership.
Absolutely. And Paul, congratulations. You were recently elected to serve on our board of directors for 2021. So yeah, very good. So I would just like to start out, Paul, you just said it, get involved, be on the forefront of what's coming out. I would just like to hear from each of you. What do you think's been maybe the most beneficial tool for your business just in the last year? I know the last 6 months specifically have been very different for everybody, but what do you think overall in the last year has benefited your business the most? We can start with you, Paul.
Okay, I was going to say ladies first.
Well, for us, I know we'll talk about it more later, and not just because it's top of mind because of today's conversation, but really the client experience rating program is truly one of our most used and most valuable resources that helps us really create a strong online presence and generate business. So we'll dive into it more later, but it's one of our top most used tools, definitely.
Yeah, very good. Well, no, we'll go back to you, Paul.
Okay. I believe the most beneficial tool in the last year is probably the virtual open house feature on the HAR app. The numbers are just crazy. 17,000 consumers attending a virtual open house. This tool has performed exactly as expected. Interesting tip is, I believe the most attended virtual house was 162 visitors. I mean, can you imagine even 10% of that being in a house at one time? So it's just amazing. And what I encourage my agents is to actually do both the live and the virtual open house at the same time and just capture as many consumers as possible. And so yeah. I think hands down virtual open house, I mean, not to mention how fast the technology team turned it out is just amazing in itself.
Yeah, wonderful. And what would you say that is for you, Ty?
Having that app developed in the pandemic was amazing just to witness and be a part of. So you're absolutely right about that. If they're not using it, download it or use that app in your HAR app. For me, I think communication is really key with clients. Market Insight has been a phenomenal tool If you're not using it now, and any tool that we discussed today, you can just go into the main login page, and they made it really simple. In the quick search bar, you can simply type Market Insight. For listings, it allows us to give seller updates consistently. So what I'll use it for is I'll email listing feedback, any pendings, any price adjustments on Monday, and I'll go to them every Monday, and then we'll review it. And then we'll call our clients on the listing side and discuss any price changes, whether it's adjusting down during the pandemic or adjusting up with where the market is now with month supply of inventory being so low. And it doesn't have to be just for sellers. We can use Market Insight for buyers too. So you can pick a property, do a neighborhood or a community, and just send constant updates so the clients are always aware. Sometimes the home search and purchase doesn't happen immediately. So you think about it, we've been in this kind of state of pandemic for the last 6 months, and how much has the market moved in pricing? Someone that was looking before the pandemic may have got a little bit better value, but now we're dealing with multiple offers. So we really have to educate our clients on that. And Market Insight is just a phenomenal tool to use for that benefit.
Yeah, great. And I do see some questions coming in. Actually, Julie just said lead generation for newbies, question mark. And I think what you just mentioned, Market Insight, is definitely a great one. And we can get into some more of those as we go through it. So I want to start with you, Paul, and go back to kind of 3D tours and virtual open houses and showings. They're not really new, right? But they've become a necessity since March. So how are you and your agents embracing these new technologies?
So, I think our agents and members in general have really embraced these new tools. I think with HAR's incorporation and bulk purchase of the Theta camera, it's really helped make 3D tours so much easier and more cost effective. I also think adding that little 360 banner on the listings that have them is a huge help to consumers as well. And again, I mean, this is just, I could go on and on all day about the benefits that HAR has. But I mean, just again, y'all securing that big purchase and teaching all of us how to use them and being able to walk in. Because, during COVID, we kind of woke up one day and a lot of our photographers were either no longer working or we had sellers that wouldn't let them in their homes. So I think the timing of it was just perfect. I think also the agents have embraced the virtual open house. Again, being on the committee and watching this evolve. And Christina, your training videos were just amazing and so easy to understand. I think also on the virtual tour app, a big pushback I got was, I don't know how I'm going to look on camera. I don't know. And so adding that test mode where you can kind of do a test one, I think was great to get people over their fears and just kind of run through it. And then also the speed test part of it to make sure you have the right connection to do it, I think has just been amazing.
Yeah, and a lot of those features were added after the initial release. We put it out to members as quickly as possible, then got a ton of feedback and were able to add in a lot of those suggestions that our members had given us, and it's really improved. If you haven't used it lately, it's probably changed from when you tried it maybe the first time. Have you seen consumers, Paul, starting to specifically request these technologies, whether they be on the buy side or the sell side? Are people asking you, are you going to do a virtual open house for my listing, or are they asking you for virtual showings?
Yeah, I definitely, with COVID changing the dynamic of how customers interact, and served by their service providers, all of these tools, again, are not just valid for COVID concerns, but the busy consumer that can't attend showings, the seller wants more exposure in digital environment. So they are starting to ask, and they're starting to see the difference between the virtual tools of, just doing, let's say, a Facebook Live event versus the HAR app where you can broadcast it to consumers that are interested in the home. So they are starting to catch wind of it. It's interesting to see how they change. At first, the Matterport or 3D tours, some people were not real sure if they like them or not. Well, during the depths of COVID, when we couldn't get in these homes to see them, it was the best thing, best thing we had. I think it's also, all these tools have helped not just people in this market, but I mean, we've sold like 17 million of property to relocation buyers, and a bunch of those were sight unseen. So the consumers are expecting it. And I think COVID has just kind of given us the push into realizing how important this is.
Yeah, I remember seeing I think it was a Facebook post from you early on about a private island that was bought sight unseen. They had done a virtual tour and sold it.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that and I was like, man, I wish I could buy a private island sight unseen.
You know, if I could buy a private island, I would do it sight unseen.
There you go. So it sounds like I think I know the answer to this question, but do you believe virtual tools like this will outlive the coronavirus pandemic?
Absolutely. You know, I strongly believe that all these tools will outlive the pandemic because they make us serve our clients better. You know, I've been telling my agents from day one that, you know, while the pandemic will eventually, you know, either go away or we'll have a vaccine, the need to serve the client, you know, make the buying and selling process easier is here for good. You know, and all the tools that we use add value to the service we provide in an environment where we are constantly trying to prove our value. I think this just helps. So again, COVID was the catalyst that pushed the importance of it, but they're here to stay, and I think they make us better agents because of it.
Yeah, you know, we get this question a lot from members, and I know how I answer it, but you as a practitioner, I would like to hear your thoughts on, and you kind of mentioned it already, but the benefit of using something like the HAR virtual open house or HAR virtual showing versus just streaming live on Facebook. What is there
Yeah.
an actual benefit?
I mean, you know, all the benefits that HAR provides, I mean, the benefits are endless. You know, I mean, the Platinum program, I would go on record as saying is the best deal ever created for realtors. You know, any one of the tools, if you were to go buy it on the open market, would cost you exponentially more. So, you know, another great thing that kind of led to one of the questions is, you know, the core of what HAR offers is connecting with consumers better. So localized tools, and really the important thing is cost-free leads. I mean, I probably have a lot of puzzled faces out there when I say cost-free leads, but, you know, developing these tools with our team led by, you know, the amazing Vicky Rizvi and his team, you know, we're able to tailor them to our market and our needs. But back to leads, I mean, let's really think about this HAR product offering compared to some of the others, right? You know, the main goal of a technology company is to get agents to pay the absolute most they can for each lead. You know, whether it's cost per click, zip codes, you know, the ROI can be pretty slim. So, you know, HAR is giving us multiple lead generation tools and not charging us a dime extra for them other than, you know, the Platinum member program. So, I think it's pretty telling that our association will invest in us in our future and make our lives easier, more productive, and serve our clients and grow our business. I mean, in the chat box, somebody please type in one other association that goes this far for its members.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. And I don't want to exclude Ty and Kayla if you have any thoughts on virtual anything, open houses or showings or 3D. Have you guys been implementing those in your business? Or Kayla, have your agents been implementing them?
We have, and one thing that Paul mentioned is we love to put them together with, you know, now that we are back out doing some in-person open houses, we love to have our agents do the virtual right before, as they're kind of leading in to their in-person open, and it's been really good for us. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, going into this pandemic, Christina, I mean, you know, Tiki called me and said, hey, listen, you know, how are we going to be able to engage consumers and still protect the safety of our community, which was, you know, Bob priority when HER closed down and everyone worked from home when the pandemic first hit. And he developed this tool really just to keep everyone safe and mindful and still promote listings and capture leads from the consumer side. And the brilliance of it is that when you do an open house virtually, that anyone that logs in, you get those registered email addresses versus anyone that comes through an open house. You don't know who they are. You don't, sometimes they register, sometimes they don't. Maybe they'll give you fake information. The idea is you get an opportunity to capture all of those leads and be able to convert those and contact and reach the consumer directly. So I think the pandemic was, you know, not really good for the community and overall in health, but as far as technology wise, it's accelerated the use of technology where we would normally have been 5 years fast forward, we're like literally here today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I add one thing also that
Absolutely.
by developing these tools, It also helped keep us on the essential list with our local government officials by, you know, showing them that we had the tools, and we as an association and as a realtor community, we're going to make these efforts to start working virtually.
Very good. Kayla, somebody actually asked if you could explain step by step your protocol for open houses.
For virtual leading in. So yeah, we'll typically do a 30-minute virtual right before a 2-hour, occasionally a little bit longer or shorter in-person open house. So specifically, I mean, we like to have that saved so that, that can be viewed at any time in the future, which is, something we never had before. So we'll have during in-person open houses, and I don't know if maybe that question was specifically related to, how we're handling it with COVID.
They didn't specify, but I would guess.
Yeah. So, one of the things that since we are getting back out there in person is we're having, as long as the weather allows us, we have everyone set up right outside. We have everybody's gear and sanitizer and masks and things right outside, and they take a tour through. We try to have people just go through with, one or maybe 2 groups at a time and kind of stay separate, and doing our best to tackle it from both ways, both in person and virtual.
Okay, very good. Moving away from virtual, I hope it does. And I do see other questions. I promise we'll get to some more questions as we go through, but I do want to hear about some of the tools that you guys wanted to come on and talk about. And so Kayla, I know for you currently have a perfect 5.0 client experience rating on har.com. So congratulations on that. We often hear from members that their clients don't do surveys. So how do you get your clients to complete it? And what do you attribute your perfect rating to?
Well, thank you. So at the end of the transaction, typically, you've likely formed a relationship with your client, and often they want to help you in this way. And so we just have to make it really easy for them. And by having kind of a system for tackling that does help make it very easy for them. It shouldn't be too hard to get them if you take a little bit of a strategic approach. For example, when I get the HAR email to send them the client experience rating, I don't want to send it to them on their busy move weekend when I know their moving truck is showing up. I don't want to send it to them, on a day that I know they've got something going on. And during that move time, it's always chaotic, and it's very likely to fall through the cracks. So if you're a little strategic on your timing based on what you know about their schedule and what's going on with them, that will help that it stay in their face versus it falling through the cracks. Personally, I flag the HAR email and I come back to it. You can add it to your to-do list, but I pick a time that's still soon after closing, when the excitement of their positive experience with you is still top of mind, but we're outside of that chaotic kind of timeline for them.
And then you want them to get their internet set up first, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So when I send it and I know that email is likely in their inbox, I also send them a text, and just saying something to the effect of, you should have an email from HAR requesting feedback about your experience with Pop Realty. We appreciate you taking a moment to do so. And usually, if you're keeping up with it in that way and you send them a text, often, like I said, they want to do it for you. And coming from HAR too, people really respect HAR. Everyone in our city knows our association. So it's an official kind of request from HAR versus just like a quick text or a note from me. So I find that that's effective. And then you can flag that email. So if you see that it hasn't come back and you want to make sure that positive rating doesn't fall through the cracks, then you can come back to it. You can send another text, stay up with them, because over time, I know earlier someone asked the question, tools for newbies. Over time, once you're several years in, you're going to look back and not even believe how many reviews you have because you've just been consistent with this since the beginning. So stay on top of it because you want to stay a part of the client experience rating. And as far as what I would attribute the perfect rating to, ultimately the content of the reviews and the star level is going to come back to your level of customer service. So over time of kind of creating positive habits when it comes to the client reviews, it's going to stay top of mind. So even in a challenging transaction, it's about how you handle the obstacles that your client faces. And then no matter what, even if there were challenges, at the end, leave them with a really positive experience. And it should, you should be able to keep those ratings up.
Very good. I did see a comment come in from Ed Hurry, and I apologize if I pronounced that correctly. He said, I wish we had more control of the timing on sending client experience rating. And they do give you 15 days after it's closed in the MLS. And it sounds like, Kayla, you just set reminders to yourself so that you make sure it gets sent out in an appropriate amount of time.
Exactly. And whatever your form of organization is, I flag them in my inbox. Maybe you set a reminder. I think HAR even sends one reminder.
I think they send a couple.
Yeah. Before you get kicked out, right?
Yeah, very good.
So yeah, keeping it top of mind. Don't let that email disappear,
Yeah, very good. So moving kind of into marketing here a little bit, because we know people look for ratings. They want to know what other people thought of you, right? So where and how do you market and promote your survey results once you get them?
Yeah, and this is the biggest part of it for us. So we promote our survey results in multiple ways. It's great, of course, when consumers land on our HRR profile and they can see directly at the source, but we also use them to help us build our other online platforms where we can get consumer reviews. So because when I receive the notification that the survey's been completed, we take it then the next step, and we want to have our client add that same feedback to our other online platforms. So we have a template email that goes out to them as soon as their review comes back, and that we actually copy paste what they wrote. Again, you're making it super easy for them in any way that you can. So we copy paste what they wrote, and then we request, we have the links in our email of where else we'd like for them to paste them. And of course, our template email is kindly requesting, hey, we really appreciate it. If you don't mind pasting what you wrote on, XYZ platforms, and then we give them the links to do so. Often they don't do all of them, but they'll get at least one for you, if you keep up with them in that way. So really the HAR client experience rating system is the point of origin for all of our online reviews. So now you've got all of these channels where you're beefing up your online presence. And of course, we've got, links to all of our review platforms in our email signatures. We discuss our reviews in any listing appointment or new buyer appointment that we take. Really any chance that we get to discuss online reviews, because we know that people are going to look at those anyway. And we know that people really compare that way. So any chance we get to reference them or direct people to any of our online review platforms, we do so.
Very good. Have you had clients hire you as a direct result from seeing your survey results?
The simple answer is absolutely yes. Ranging from clients who are starting their search for an agent and just comparing people online. We know that they're shopping us. We know that they're comparing different agents. And so we know we have as many links as possible to check out reviews, reliable reviews. And because the HAR client experience rating is the point of origin for basically all of our online reviews, no matter where they come from, they've likely seen or searched for our reviews somewhere, and maybe even reached out because of our reviews. Again, they all link back to that client experience rating. Additionally, when we have referral agents from out of town looking for someone to direct their clients to who are moving to Houston, your online presence is critical there as well. And so most often when we get referrals from out of town, it's because of our online reviews on some platform.
Very good. Very good. So one last question here, because I get asked this question from members all of the time. They're nervous, right? They're nervous about the feedback that they might get. So what would you say to an agent that isn't using the client experience rating because they're nervous about getting a low rating?
Gotcha. Well, all your positive ratings are going to wash out that low rating anyway. right? But I wouldn't hesitate at all, because one negative review here or there, or say you get a 4-star instead of a 5 and it just wrecks your day, you know, that's not going to be overshadowed. Your positive reviews really are going to overshadow those. It's kind of like a grade point average, you know. You're an A student, you get a B once in a while, you maybe get a C, but ultimately it's not going to destroy your grade point average. So there's more positive that's going to come from you having online reviews and filtering these out to create a really strong online presence. There's much more positive than negative that will come from it. So I wouldn't miss out on the opportunity to build your business by having the online reviews.
Very good. Paul, I know you're a big fan of the client experience rating too. Yeah. What do you have anything you want to add to anything Kayla said about it?
Yeah, I think Kayla knocked it out of the park. That's exactly what I say to other agents. Someone actually made a comment in the chat box, and I remember when I had a perfect 5 also, and my first 4.5 came in, and I was just crushed. I was crushed. I mean, this is some clients I'd given furniture to. And I was crushed. And I reached out to someone and I said, well, I'm going to congratulate you and take you out for dinner. Why are you going to congratulate me and take me out for a non-perfect survey? Now you look real. Yeah. People expect, I mean, the perfect 5 is great, but people understand if it's going to be 4.9, 4.8, you know, and again, you know, what I tell agents is do it. I mean, this business is going to demand transparency and you can't hide. And so just do the basics and serve your clients well, put their needs before yours and show them you care. And client experience rating is going to be a, kind of like Kayla said, a very helpful tool to help build your business.
Yeah, that's great. I've compared it to restaurants in the past, to different realtors. If you go look up your favorite restaurant on Yelp, they probably don't have a 5-star review. Does that stop them from being your favorite and serving great food and being a great place to eat? Well, no, not for you, but maybe one person didn't have the best experience. Or like you're saying, maybe they just, hey, 4 is a really good rating still, so let me give them a 4. So very good. Ty, do you have anything you want to add to client experience rating?
Yeah, I do. Thanks, Christine. You know, as we prepared for this, I'm guilty of not using it as much as I should. So these two, bringing it to light is just amazing to see what they're using it for and the feedback that they're getting. So, you know, you're right. When you look at client reviews and you think about restaurants, I mean, it doesn't deter your decision from using it, but also you don't realize the importance of client reviews. For me, I just started thinking about it like if we were looking at a product, like I was shopping on Amazon the other day, and literally it was like the same product. And I ended up buying the one with more reviews. So, you know, I mean, in that instance, the consumer makes that split decision of which product to choose. In this case, maybe which realtor, which agent to choose. I know there's some new people that are here on Engage and they're thinking like, well, I don't have listings or I don't have any, you know, like buyers that I can review or can review me. There's also, HER has been great about developing, you know, a professional review. So you can have others in the industry, your firm, your brokers, or other friends in there review you. So you can have some reviews that have some positive feedback without actually having clients. So you can have those testimonials. Mm-hmm. And then for me, I'm going to make it a just mission to get reviewed. So I thought about it. I think the best way for me to get reviewed is professionally go review other people. And then that way you can give them nice feedback, whether it's on LinkedIn or on HER, and then you yourself can enhance and elevate your reviews.
Yeah, very good.
One thing,
go ahead, Paul.
Kayla kind of hit on it. What I would do after closing is I had a draft email and I would copy all the links to the sites where I was reviewed on, copy and paste what they said on HER, and you know, I think I would offer them like a $5 per site donations at charity or like Amazon gift card, just to kind of give them some motivation to go there and post all those.
Yeah.
Again, good. I mean, you know, client experience rating is great if you don't have to be looking on Zillow or on, I mean, who knows where else.
Yeah. And, you know, what you were just mentioning, Ty, the recommendations are a great one that not as many realtors utilize, but let's say that you and Paul work both sides of a transaction, and after the transaction, you had great communication, everything was smooth, he was easy to work with. Maybe, you go to his profile and write a recommendation for him. What is he going to do? Exactly as you said, he's going to turn around and write one for you. So and those pop up on your HAR profiles and your HAR agent websites as well. So I saw somebody asking about adding additional reviews or recommendations on the website. That happens automatically when you do those recommendations. So that's great. Some other tools that you want to talk about, Ty, as our technology advisory group chair, you are obviously really passionate about the tools that HAR provides. You've mentioned a few already: Market Insight, recommendations, and of course the virtual. Can you tell us a little bit more about any of the other tools that maybe have been released just in the last 6 months that you're excited about?
I don't think we have enough time to tell you all of the tools. Oh my gosh, there's so much. What you guys don't see is that the tech team for HAR, along with the chair and Bob and everyone else, I mean, they literally work around the clock. I mean, 24/7. They're set up. They've been virtual, even though like everyone's like at home and it's this pandemic. They've always been there for you in terms of creating these tools. So it's awesome for us to talk about it. So kudos to them and everyone else at HAR. One of my favorite tools that they've been improving over time, that kind of levels the playing field for a lot of realtors in there, is the Marketing Center. So if you haven't gone there lately, just go into the main search and type Marketing Center, and they've kind of unified the ability to be able to promote yourself and listings from within one area. You can do landing pages to websites, you can do video content there from YouTube and social media syndication. They'll create it in the slide format that goes in whether you're using Instagram or Facebook to have the proper kind of ratios that will really show well. And then also you could use social media advertising, which you can set a budget. I mean, you don't have to spend a lot of money, but if you wanted to promote it, the way the advertising sets up is that it'll use the analytics and AI to promote to a certain demographic. And you can highlight a particular open house or listing or promote items on there and be able to capture those consumer leads and convert it from there. So I really like the new tools that Marketing Center has to offer.
Very good. And I do see there were a lot of questions. I see there's some HAR staff on helping. So thanks to Marilyn answering a lot of these tech questions. And I see Matt was answering some questions about Zillow. And again, somebody else said it in the chat, this panel isn't about Zillow, but as Matt said, that is something that you can turn off, that syndication. And I know, Paul, that you know a lot about it, that you've served on a lot of these different boards and advisory groups and things like that. So that's something that we offer every broker, is the opportunity to turn off. Do you have any comments or anything you want to make on that?
As far as turning it off?
Yeah.
I think ultimately that we need to serve our buyers and sellers well. We tread lightly on this one. I absolutely recognize the members' concerns and have voiced my concern about them as well.
Sure.
But I think at the end of the day, with the number of consumers that are on it, I think we could find a more effective way through we can find more effective ways than just turning off feeds.
Very good.
Because I think that's a lose-lose situation for everyone.
Yeah. And I think, as you guys have discussed today, all of these tools we're talking about are lead generating tools that I think our members should be using. And I think that's something that maybe they don't realize. Like you said, it's free leads. So
leads, Christina.
Yeah.
One of my favorite tools to use is that if you have a listing, not too many agents are familiar with it, but if you go to your leads section, there's a bookmark leads. And if you drop down on that menu, you can email those individuals that have bookmarked your listing as a favorite. So anyone who's put a heart on their app, you can promote that listing to tell them about an open house or a showing, or send them the tour links that you've created. So I love that tool. I think it's great for reaching out to the consumer.
Yeah, very good. I see somebody put, I love bookmark leads, and Kelly just said so many agents don't know about this tool, and that's not a platinum tool. That's available for every agent. Laura said she loves her branded app for that. So are any of you using the HAR agent branded app? That's one we haven't talked about. We have a few more minutes left.
Yes. That's a great one too, Christina, is the branded app. If you aren't linking your consumer on any side to your branded app, whenever they register for a listing or more information, you can see on your branded app feed of what they're looking at, when they're looking at it, and be able to connect with them in an informed manner and get more information that's relevant to them. So if you're not doing it, definitely on the buyer side or listing side, that's important to have.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, so now there's questions about the branded app. So where is the branded app? It's actually built into the HAR app. So if you're a Platinum subscriber, you log into that HAR app and you will see it there. We have tutorial videos and all kinds of stuff to teach you how to set it up. So we don't need to get into those details today, but that is where it is. Very good. So
It's on the very top.
you have it? Yep, there it is. Here's your video tutorial from Paul.
Yeah.
Very good. So a lot of people are, thank you guys, great session. Carmelita said she loves her Platinum membership. We have a few minutes left, so if you guys have anything else you want to share with our members about the tools or anything we discussed today or didn't discuss today.
You know, I mean, thank you guys for just continuing to support HAR and their tech tools. The soon to come. I know there's going to be a lot of comments about this, but HAR is in the development with the CRM that will really be amazing to use. That's integrated with your kind of like client registration and information that's on there. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. And I mean, we're just cutting edge in terms of an association and technology. So if you've never been outside of this association, in other MLSs, they do not have like anywhere near the tools that you're experiencing today. So kudos to HAR.
Yeah, very good. Paul, do you have something?
No, I just 100% what Ty said. You know, again, the free tools we have and the ones that are only 129, am I right?
129. 129 a year.
I mean,
Right.
there's no
Not a
better
month,
part-
a year, right?
no better deal in the real estate world than the HAR Platinum membership.
Yeah, very good. Kayla?
Yeah, and just one thing that I don't think we've mentioned is, one of the stats that you were telling us about, Christina, is that there are less than 5,000 members with a client experience rating on HAR out of 41,000. So again, just a really great tool to help you stand out. And I have to second what both of you all have said, is HAR is top tier. I mean, when it comes to all of the technology and resources that are provided, I mean, you could spend an entire conference just on the tools. So kudos to HAR, definitely.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Somebody said they love the website, and that's something that they are actually revamping those now. I'm not sure how much of that you're in on there, Ty, but I know they're revamping the website templates because it's a very there's basically one template that you can kind of play around with, but they're creating even more of those. So those agent websites, if you love them now, they're going to get even better. So there were some technical questions, and I don't want you to feel like we ignored those or didn't answer those questions, but you can reach out to HAR support@har.com. You can also call. Our phone lines and chat are open 7 days a week. So if any of you, I saw some people who were having issues with client experience rating or things like that, just call or email, and we will make sure you get taken care of. There was a couple more questions about client experience rating that I'll open to any of you. Someone asked a little bit earlier in the chat that do you think that do you actually go through what is on the survey with your clients, and do you think that helps? Or do you explain to them, how do you explain to them, I guess, what exactly they are rating you on?
Yeah, I'll take it. So
Sure.
on those, if you dig in there, I have a review that there's several sections, and it was a really great transaction, have a great relationship with the client. And I did get a 4 out of 5 on just one of those sections. And so I called them and we talked about it, because really, if that does happen, use it as an opportunity to understand where you can do better. And we talked about it. He was wonderful about it. And, I keep it in mind. So I do talk to them about their ratings, and I do then go the next step to apply it to just how to be better. Because any constructive criticism should be embraced.
Mm-hmm.
Christina, do we have time for a funny client experience rating story?
Of course we do. I love funny client experience rating stories.
So actually, I take it back. My lowest one ever was a 1 across the board. And I got it back. It happened to be my father-in-law that I helped find a lease. And you think at least your father-in-law is going to give you all 5s. So I called him up. Actually, I had my now ex-wife call him up and say, were you mad at Paul? What did he do wrong? Oh no, he was great. So why did you give him the lowest score on the client experience rating? He said, oh no, I thought I was giving him the highest one. So actually he had to call in and talk to Marilyn and then he gave me a 5. So that was good.
He said you were number 1.
Yeah.
Right.
Very good. Somebody said in the chat, the lowest was my husband. So he might have thought she was number 1 too. And somebody did agree with Sharon, did agree with you, Kayla, that we could have a whole day on just tech tools. And I tend to agree with her as well. So great. I see some comments in there about training, how you guys can get set up with training on tools. And the rest look like kind of technical questions that are being answered. So any last thoughts for our members that are watching today?
Yep, and log in there and go to Quick List. That's a great tool to promote listing social media feeds. I mean, if you're not out there serving as part of like the association in any capacity, I mean, I encourage you to do so because I mean, it not only gives you the ability to give back, but you're at the forefront of being able to help kind of mold and shape some of these things that we're doing.
Okay, and someone missed what you said. That was Quick List. That is one of our newest tools that's been released in the last few months as well. So thank you so much. A lot of people thanking you guys in the chat for your expertise today. It's really helpful for our members to see how you're using these tools and how they're benefiting your business. So thank you guys for your time today. Right after this, we are actually having a how-to session on the virtual open house tool. So they will put the direct link to that in the chat. Make sure you click on that and join us for the next session. We'll see you there. Have a good one, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.